What's good in the hood, YouTube? This is Crazy Samurai 71 here, bringing you another video. Today's video is on something a little bit different. I did a recent video on the Free Comic Book Day stuff, so I thought when I was there, I might as well get a comic that I could personally have that isn't just one of those smaller ones that would come from that day. I decided to get a Superior Spider-Man comic. If anyone's curious exactly what is Superior Spider-Man, by the way, it's Superior, and at the bottom here it says Superior Venom. Kind of looks like, clearly like the look kind of has that Venom look. This comic right here, so if anyone's wondering what is Superior Spider-Man, because most people know of, the original Spider-Man, Ultimate Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man, there's so many different variations of Spider-Man. Superior Spider-Man is this idea where you may know Dr. Octopus which you may know him from the comics, you might just know him by name, or you might have seen him in the second Spider-Man movie from the original Spider-Man movies back in the 2000s. You may remember him. So in this case, what happens is that Dr. Octopus takes over Spider-Man's mind and takes control of him and becomes the Superior Spider-Man. That's the whole entire idea of Superior Spider-Man, is the fact that Doc Ock takes over and controls Peter to do certain things, and he becomes a lot more of a rogue character rather than your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. More of a darker side of the story, and an interesting one that I personally only recently had found out some knowledge about, and I knew about a lot of the other variations. There's also been a lot of other ones that I was just naming a couple of well-known Spider-Man variations, but there's been a lot of other ones. Those are just a couple of the really, really well-known ones. But Superior Spider-Man is a darker one, and I had only recently seen it. I had only recently found out about it, and I was looking around for comics when I went for a Free Comic Book Day, and I wasn't sure what I wanted to get. I didn't want to get like one of those ones that's like sleeved up and classic, because I don't want to open it up, because it's like it's something that's very it's worth a lot more, and also just because it's like you don't want to ruin a really, really like classic comic that's like been sleeved up and everything. I mean, those are like special. I mean, I wish that there were a way for people to be able to open them up and have like the actual thing preserved around, so you can actually just read them all at the same time having that wrapping. But there's no way around that, which really kind of does suck. But that's just how things are. This is very cool. It's more of a graphic novel, as you may have noticed, but very cool. Just a lot of really awesome stuff. I love this I like this a lot. I think that this is a very cool thing. I hope to eventually get some other comics, but after I went there, I mean, I had no idea personally where I live whether or not there was any comic book stores nearby or anything, because I never see them anywhere. And apparently, since it was Free Comic Book Day, and I was just in the mood for something different to do, I went and explored, and I found it. Oh, look, there's one not too far away, and I drove over there, and I found out, hey, guess what? There's a comic book store, and they were sponsoring it, and it was just very cool. And the comic book store said to everyone, you could take five of the free comics that they give out for the day, which is really awesome. I mean, sure, it's not like substantial comics, but I mean, hey, it's not bad. And I mean, hey, I'm sure I'll go back and get some regular comics soon enough, talk about those in some more detail, and if things become a real thing, I might eventually start talking a bunch about superheroes. And if people are into that stuff, great, because if you can, please recommend some comics or certain characters that I may look into, because I personally I've been interested in it, and I have a good amount of knowledge about about a lot of different comic franchises. Believe me, I definitely do. It's just that I haven't really ever gotten into, like, I know the background on most characters, and I know what happens to most characters within the stories of each of the different franchises, for the most part. Not all, obviously. There's so many comics, but I mean, a good amount of them. And if you guys can give me some recommendations as to what kinds of comics you guys are into, and that'd be great. And where you guys have been looking, whether it be online or what kinds of or how to find the cheapest comics or the best comics for a reasonable price, or just a way to find them online. Because personally, it's hard for me. I always have trouble finding comics online that I can just easily read, because most of the time the comics are like samples, and they usually equate to like 20 pages or something, which is not bad, but it's like you can't really get a full sense of a comic. And if you want to read one of those like older ones, I mean, you can't get that. And I mean, it's fun to just read comics in general, but if you don't like, it's good to have a lot of background and being able to have some continuity going for you, rather than just having this continuous thing where you're just kind of like, oh, I'm reading this, but I don't really know what's going on. That's why I always have trouble when it comes to that, because it's just like, I would love to have the full background on all the different characters, and being able to read all the comics and get a sense of every single thing. And I can't really find any sites that really give me that access, where I'm just able to freely go through all the different comics and read several different series of comic book characters. Like, I mean, the Avengers movie came out, and I was looking around when I went there for maybe an Avengers comic, and most of the time I really couldn't find much in regard to Avengers, the place that I went to, which sucks. But eventually I'm sure I'll find some other comics, whether it be Avengers, Spider-Man, or something entirely different. I mean, I have a lot of favorite characters in the Marvel and DC universe, and it's just really, it's something that I've always been interested in considering doing, but I haven't really been able to do it easily online. And yes, there are those apps that you can use, but a lot of those apps result in you having to pay money, unless you're getting like the free sample comics, which sometimes are good, but sometimes really suck, and usually aren't all that informative. And I want to have like more than just the one comic, and then like have a comic that's 100 comics later. I mean, I want to have constant. I want to have that constant continuity, where I'm able to pick up comic 1 and then go to comic 2, and then 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and so forth. So that's just me rambling a little bit, but anyway, guys, please tell me what kind of comics you like, where you found that, where you've been finding them, because personally, I would love to do some discussions on some of these heroes a little bit more, but I also don't have. But personally, I've had trouble myself finding a lot of this stuff. I've found a lot of information about most of the heroes, and I know a whole lot about most of the characters, but the thing is that I don't really have like a really good site or a really good place where I can just easily, read through comics and read them in order, and not have to think, I don't know what happened 20 comics ago, because I don't have the continuity, which is not a bad thing, but it just kind of sucks at the same time. But anyway, guys, goodbye. But anyway, guys, thank you guys for watching, and goodbye. What am I saying? Thank you guys for watching, and goodbye, and please like, comment, and subscribe.